Everybody, July 10th, 2025, and I'm here with your after hours recap. So, where do we begin? It's a bull market, and I guess I'll just start with all the goods. And the goods was Delta Airline reported earnings, huge pickup in volume, nice job getting back over the 200 simple moving average. These travel stocks, whether it's Delta Airline, I saw United Airline almost performed even better than Delta. Super big pickup in volume and continuation. Your Love, which is your Southwest, has been, above the 200, and here you go, big pickup in volume, nice little breakout here on Love. RCL, new 50, really new all-time high, beautiful continuation, feels like the leader in that kind of travel group. I personally own CCL, just digesting nicely here. It's up really nicely since my buy, and hopefully just finding some support on the rising 10. And your semiconductors continue to act well. Really, really nice move for AMD. But again, this one's kind of like one of those tricky groups because where you have an AMD, you also have an ALAB, and this is just nasty, nasty action right in the morning. But of course, you're getting these ugly moves down into ascending and flattening moving averages, and then you're kind of getting bought up from there. So you're kind of having to take some of the good with the bad with the group. I still think the group acts fantastic. Semiconductors are acting well. Travel stocks are acting well. Boeing these last few days has been acting really, really well. Little quiet inside day today. Nothing wrong with it. Home builders kind of feel like they're bottoming. If we look at something like Pulte, or even, a Lennar or a Toll, kind of just feels like some of these are in their base building or already in some little cleanup trends. We'll see if, these things can get back above their 200, but it kind of feels like some of these home builders, solar stocks, and even biotechs, if you look at the XBI, like it's starting to front run maybe some interest rate cuts. But more importantly, a lot of these names are in the IWM, and it feels like to me, and really not even just feels like, for the last few weeks, your IWM is actually starting to outperform the NASDAQ, and I couldn't really tell you why. I know that the IWM, the Russell, is more shorted than the NASDAQ, so people are being punished for being short in a bull market. Kind of makes some sense to me. And the IWM is starting to really outperform. Regional banks have been doing okay. Your JP Morgan, really nice bounce back today. So some of the bigger names, the bigger banks bounce backs today. Fantastic, fantastic action in semis and some banks. And then obviously I cannot leave out crypto. I bought some IBIT yesterday, and then I bought some more today. So some really nice follow-up action on your IBIT. And then obviously you get the push even further when the market was closed, and then you get this little gap up overnight on an IBIT. Fantastic to be in this, and finally some things that are working. ARC, very nice continuation on this ARC, and you are effectively out to new 52-week highs there as well. I don't know how long this trend is going to persist, but it is absolutely fantastic. And then, just to pick up on a few of the things that were negative, and that was cybersecurity stocks by a mile, right? You had Zscaler finally break down a little bit, kind of a nasty down day, 6% plus. You had CrowdStrike with just disgusting action today. You had Fortinet, FTNT with disgusting action today. 7% down day. I mean, this is just disgusting. You had CYBR with some more of the same. You had down 7%. You had PanW, down almost 7%. So I don't know if people are like, well, let's just sell cybersecurity and let's plow into Bitcoin. Because with that said, you had your Mara going higher, you had your Riot going higher, you had Coin pushing higher, new 52-week high. You had MSTR pumping higher. So everything in the crypto space was working. Everything in the cybersecurity space was not working. There's definitely some big volatility out there, as can be seen by a name like VRT. At one point you were down double digits on this thing. It triggered SSR, and then all of a sudden hits the 50 simple moving average and just bounces cleanly from there. Again, I don't really know what's up with some of the volatility going on out here, whether up or down, but it is a bull market. It's still a fantastic trading environment. Intraday trading is probably a lot of fun for the people who are intraday trading. I'm having a little bit of a pain in the ass getting resituated on the long side, but when I am getting resituated on the long side, those are trends that are working for a little bit, and hopefully IBIT fits into that bill. And then even silver today, you thought it was rejecting yesterday's highs, and this is just kind of showing you some of the volatility where this thing starts to reject yesterday's highs on a pickup in volume, and then all of a sudden comes right back, breaks yesterday's highs, and now pushing even higher. So some pain in the ass volatility, but volatility nonetheless. Again, a pickup in volume. Silver's already a touch crowded, but doesn't seem to matter. We're probably going to that $40+ in silver in short order. Gold's still looking pretty good, but I don't like it nearly as much as silver from a technical perspective, even though gold's a whole lot less crowded. But just kind of keeping that in mind. And really everywhere you look, things seem to be performing pretty well. Again, you have an MU not doing a ton today, right? Just continuing to digest here sideways. And then on the flip side, you've got an AMD. And while an AMD is ripping in the morning, an NVIDIA is kind of pulling back in the morning. So, kind of a catch-22. You have to be like really on your P's and Q's and buying properly. More likely than not, the best buys have been pullbacks, and we talked about this a little bit in the room, right? Just like wait for the first 45 minutes of the day, and you'll kind of notice that stocks are pulling back, and then right around 9:15 Central, right, like 10:15, 10:30 Eastern, things just kind of start to bounce back up from there, and that seems like it's going to continue to work until it stops working, right? Just pullbacks into key moving averages, pullbacks into prior day highs, pullbacks sometimes as you undercut prior day low, and then you rally back up. But again, there were some things like cybersecurity space where you'd be like, oof, that wasn't so pretty. And that sector's kind of just hands off for me until the volatility subsides there. I don't like trading volatility like that unless it's like a single day trade, which I don't really care to do. So yeah, superb action everywhere. I don't really know what else to say. Nice to see a little bit of a bid in Tesla. That was fun. Hopefully this thing can get back above its 200, pull back, find some support. That would be awesome. But otherwise, just big volatility out there, and to the up and to the downside. It's good that I was able to get myself situated into IBIT yesterday, added more today, and then you're gapping up a little bit overnight. That's super fun to be a part of, and hopefully that goes higher. Like I said, new 52-week highs in ARC, and then your like I said, these travel stocks, whether you're LUV and then UAL, which acted even better than the one that had big volume on earnings, Delta, these travel stocks, and obviously RCL being your leader, CCL is the one I own, and then even your Viking looks fantastic, and then even your something like Hilton for your hotel stocks, really nice little flat base and a breakout on the 27th, and then follow up from there. So you just kind of have to be focused on the right things, and if you're focused on them as things are kind of coming out of tight areas, and you're making sure you're paying attention to the group strength, you can do pretty well in this market. Again, getting resituated in some stuff may not be the funnest, but the market's definitely in an uptrend, and it is fun to participate in a trend like this. So hopefully you guys find this video helpful, and we will see you guys all bright and early tomorrow morning. Oh, actually, final thought. Did not like the action in CoreWeave, but I don't think that matters too much. Obviously, you're closing on lows, but we'll see if this thing wants to go a little bit lower. But everybody thought that this was a little inside day and potentially going to go higher, and the market likes to make fools of everybody, myself included. So I think that's about it. Nothing else was super notable that I can think of. Steel, STLD didn't really do anything special, but there are some steel names, that sector, that group is actually starting to perform pretty well. And that's about it, guys. Still a great market. Still look for tight areas. Don't buy things that are extended. Things that are extended, you're just likely to get your ass kicked in. And then just take it one day at a time. Try to get yourself repositioned. And hopefully Bitcoin decides to keep going. 130,000, here we come. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. Anyway, guys, I will see you guys bright and early for pre-market prep. Cheers.